Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to Amtrak Vacations presentation today on some of our most popular last-minute national park trips. We are beyond excited for this. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Bennell, and I have proudly been here with Amtrak Vacations now for 4.5 years, and I couldn't be more excited today to be here with all of you to go over some of the best information possible on some of our last minute national park trips. Please stay tuned to the end of the presentation as we'll have some exclusive discounts for all of you attendees, as well as one lucky person will win a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card at the end of the presentation today. So something to definitely look forward to. So let's hop right into it. Why Amtrak Vacations, might you ask? Well, there's several reasons why. First off, it is a bucket list experience. Last year, we surveyed all of our travelers from every corner of the globe as to why they chose Amtrak and Amtrak Vacations. And the number one consensus answer that we kept seeing was that it was a bucket list trip. It's definitely worthwhile to have on your bucket list. It's something new, it's something different, and you'll definitely love it. There's room to roam. Please, let us freely move amongst the train. It's nothing like being on an airplane where, you have a fastened seatbelt sign that's always dinging, and when you can get up, you can only move maybe 20 feet tops. No, no, no. With Amtrak and traveling by train, you can actually freely move amongst the train as often as you want. Perhaps visit the cafe car, the dining car, or my personal favorite, the observation car, which we'll touch base on a little bit later. I got a fun little story about that. There's less hassle. Please, there's no need for you to waste hours, sometimes even days, piecing every little bit together and trying to figure out those confusing rail schedules. It can get hectic, I understand. Please, let us do it for you. How does a matter of minutes sound where we can get together the whole package from rail, hotels, sightseeing, meals, transfers? We can get everything together for you, and it's completely hassle-free. Let us do the work for you. The city is city service. Now, I absolutely love this because as one thing I dislike is the long airport transfers. You fly in after a long flight, you get into your destination into the airport, and all of a sudden you have an hour airport transfer from airport to the city center. And once again, you got to wait and all that. No, no, no. With Amtrak, you can get to where you want to be as quickly as possible. Typically, we go from downtown to downtown. One example I always like to throw out with that is New York City, Penn Station. Penn Station's right in the heart of Midtown Manhattan, right under Madison Square Garden. You are right where you want to be, and that's how Amtrak typically deals with it, is they get you right into city center to city center. Satisfy your hunger. Now, this I'll touch base a little bit later, as I just want to remind everyone that whenever you upgrade to your sleeping accommodations on board the train, your meals are automatically included, and your clients are going to thank you for that because the dining on Amtrak is fabulous. And lastly, flexibility. Our trips have the full ability to be customized and tailor-made to your liking. Say you see something today, but you want to tweak it a bit, maybe add an extra night, or maybe add a destination, or continue. We can do that for you. Or say you have this ideal dream rail vacation on your mind, but you don't know how to go about setting it up. Please let us know. We are here to help plan your perfect dream rail vacation. Now, I always love showing off this map because it really amazes me at how extensive Amtrak's system really is. In fact, did you know that Amtrak services 46 out of the 48 contingent states here in the U.S., with the exceptions of South Dakota and Wyoming? And last year, fun fact, Amtrak set their ridership record with over 32.5 million riders. That is crazy. In fact, if Amtrak was an airline, last year they would have been the sixth most traveled airline in the world. How crazy is that? It is exciting. And one of the best parts about it is we can choose from any of the 500 Amtrak stations to start or end the journey. Or if you want to, you can fly to your start destination or fly home from your end destination. It's completely up to you. Now, one of my favorite elements about traveling by Amtrak is there's no pesky middle seat. I can tell you this happened to me about 3 weeks ago. I got onto a plane, and lo and behold, I had the middle seat. And it started my vacation off on a horrible note, very sour note, and I just couldn't get comfortable. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of you understand how that feels. You have that middle seat that no one likes. Well, with Amtrak, there's no need for that. We work in rows of two, so you can truly get comfortable on the trains and kick back and relax and enjoy not being sandwiched. And another really great thing as well is there's no long TSA lines at the stations. There's no reason and no way you have to wait 2, sometimes 3 hour long line just to take your shoes and your belt off. With Amtrak, we can get you onto the train as quickly as possible so you can truly kick back and relax and enjoy your journey. And lastly, there's no need to spend your days sitting in traffic. I can tell you this happened to me as well somewhat recently. I was getting ready to go on a road trip, and I got out of work, and I hopped in the car and hit the freeway. You know how it goes. The windows go down, music goes up, and all of a sudden, boom, you hit hours and hours and hours of what seems like endless traffic, and no one likes that. It's once again starts your vacation off on a sour note. Well, no one's getting in the way of our rails, so we can get you exactly where you want to be as quickly as possible. Please let Amtrak do the driving for you. Now, we offer several different types of vacations packages that can cater towards anyone. So first off are our independent rail journeys. These are some of our most popular packages that we offer. These are our multi-city, multi-state, week-long, 10-day long, 14-day long, even up to 16-day long packages. They're incredibly comprehensive, and they cover quite a bit of ground. So if you're looking for a bit of a longer journey, these are the trips for you. There's our family adventures. Now, these packages I always recommend if you're doing a large family trip or a multi-generational trip, as there's something for everyone of all ages on these, from grandparents to parents to children to even grandchildren. They're completely family friendly, and there is something to be done for everyone. There's our rail and sail. Now, these are my personal favorite as they combine 2 completely different travel styles. So first off, you wouldn't get the Amtrak portion, so you get a really wonderful train journey, but also along with that, you get an Alaskan cruise from Seattle. So you get the train and a cruise all rolled up into one amazing package. And then we have our rail getaways. Now, these are the perfect 2 to 3 night single city breaks. Especially with summer travel, and starting up just now, definitely keep these in mind because these are the trips. If you're looking to just get away for a couple of nights, these are the proper packages for you, and these are the trips you'd want to take a look at. And lastly, our national parks, which we'll be taking a look at for today. So we actually work hand in hand with a lot of those hard-to-get lodges in some of the most popular national parks, places like the Grand Canyon, Yellowstone, Glacier National Park. We work so closely with some of those lodges that we actually have our own allocations. That's right, we have our own space at some of these hard-to-get lodges. So sometimes, you might not be able to find space. Definitely keep us in mind. We have the space on those, which is truly, truly amazing. And we're going to be covering some of those today. And to book any of these magnificent packages, there are 3 options. You can give us a call at 1-800-268-7252, and one of our amazing reservationists would be more than happy to assist you and help you get that together. You can visit our website at amtrakvacations.com, or my personal recommendation, what I always do, is contact or pay a visit to your local travel agent. Travel agents are wonderful. I actually go through a travel agent from all my personal travel. They are there to help provide their expertise and truly help you out. Their travel agents are wonderful. Love them. So let's hop right into it and go over some of our most popular packages. But just before we do so, just keep in mind, anything you see today can be customized. So it's truly a nice experience that you can put together and customize your dream rail vacation. So let's hop right into our first package we're going to be looking at. This is our Rails to the Grand Canyon, which is a magnificent package. It starts and ends in Los Angeles. However, we can definitely help you out no matter where you're coming out of. One thing I will recommend with this package is if you're already doing a West Coast trip, say you're doing a trip down the Pacific Coast Highway and you're going through the state of California and you want to figure out, the Grand Canyon's only a state away. It's really close, but I've always wanted to see it. But how? Well, this is the package you'd want to look at, as this is the quickest and easiest way to get to and from the Grand Canyon and be able to see it from LA by train. So what it is, it starts out in Los Angeles. We take a nighttime train, overnight train from Los Angeles to Williams, Arizona. We'll arrive into Williams the following morning. When we get into Williams, we'll then switch over to the Grand Canyon Railway, which is the famous antique steam train that'll take you from Williams up to the South Rim. When you get up to the South Rim, you're met by a guided motor coach for a guided motor coach rim tour of the South Rim. That'll show you some of the best spots, some of the best viewing spots of the Grand Canyon, and as well as you'll have a buffet lunch included in that. And then from there, you'll do 2 nights up in one of the lodges up at the South Rim. Now, I love this because the lodges up in the South Rim are amazing. And you'll actually have a day to yourself while you're up there. Perhaps do a hike, maybe do a wildlife tour, maybe go do a helicopter tour, which we can offer for you as well. So keep that in mind. Now, after our 2 nights up at the South Rim, we'll take the Grand Canyon Railway back down to Williams. When we get into Williams, we'll then switch right over to Amtrak and then take an overnight train from Williams back to Los Angeles, where we'll arrive the following morning. So all in all, it's a 5-day, 4-night. We get the Steamliner train from Williams to the Grand Canyon, which is the Grand Canyon Railway. From there, we'll have the motor coach rim tour of the South Rim of the Grand Canyon. That includes the buffet lunch. All in all, 2 nights hotel and 2 nights on board train. Those 2 nights are in coach seating. However, we can definitely upgrade to the sleepers on this. You'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and your meals on the train would be included. Fantastic package. In fact, I don't know if any of you are aware, the Grand Canyon was the most visited national park last year. It had over 7 million visitors. There's a reason why it's considered one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. It's truly amazing. And I feel, especially with the Grand Canyon, it's one of those places, if you're from the U.S., you have to visit at least once. Now, this is our Grand National Parks. We launched this series last year. We have 3 different versions of it. This is one of the most popular versions. It's our Grand National Parks with Yellowstone, Yosemite, and the Grand Canyon, which is amazing. So if you do notice, it does start and end in Chicago. Now, Chicago, the reason why, if you notice, a lot of our packages do start and end in Chicago because Chicago is Amtrak's hub station. So a lot of the trips do start and end there. But however, if you are coming over from anywhere else, we can definitely help you out with that. You don't necessarily have to leave directly from Chicago. We can help you out. So what we'll do is we do an overnight from Chicago to Salt Lake City, heading west on board the California Zephyr. Now this train ride's awesome. You'll do an overnight and you'll arrive into Salt Lake City the following day. Now that train ride's amazing as you'll actually pass through the Rockies when you get really through Colorado and Salt Lake City, that area. It's so beautiful from the train. When we get to Salt Lake, we'll do 1 night in Salt Lake City. The next day, we'll hop aboard the Salt Lake Express, which is a sightseeing transfer. Now, it's your transportation from Salt Lake City up to Yellowstone National Park, but it's a sightseeing transfer as it will do stops along the way. There's some really fantastic photo opportunities en route, so you'll be able to get off, see some of the sights, and be able to see some of the beautiful scenery. The transfer will end up in Yellowstone, where we'll do 2 nights in one of the lodges in Yellowstone National Park. And while we're there, we'll have the full-day tour of the Lower Loop bus tour, which is a fantastic tour. It's an incredibly comprehensive tour, and it will actually take you by some of the top sites that Park has to offer, such as like the Old Faithful Geyser. Now, after our 2 nights in Yellowstone are all done, we'll then take the Salt Lake Express back down to Salt Lake City, where we'll then board the California Zephyr, and then we will continue westward on an overnight train to San Francisco. When we get into San Francisco, we'll do 2 nights in a downtown San Francisco hotel, right in either the Fisherman's Wharf area or the Union Square area, right where you want to be. And then while we're in San Francisco, we will have a full-day tour of Yosemite National Park. Now, you won't have to worry about this because everything's handled for you. They'll pick you right up at your hotel. We'll drive you out to Yosemite, and you will get a incredibly, incredibly comprehensive full-day tour of Yosemite National Park in the Yosemite Valley. In fact, you'll see one of my favorite spots in the park, which is the Yosemite Falls. Amazing waterfall, and you'll enjoy it, and this will be the 2nd national park that you'll visit on this package. After our 2 nights, after our tour in Yosemite and our 2 nights in San Francisco are all done, we'll then hop aboard the Coast Starlight, heading south on a day train to Los Angeles. And when we're in Los Angeles, we'll do 1 really quick overnight in a downtown Los Angeles hotel. The next day, during the daytime, we'll have a guided city tour of Los Angeles. So you can see some of the hot spots, such as the Hollywood Hills, Beverly Hills. You'll see the famous Hollywood Walk of Fame. You'll see some of the top sites that they really have to offer in LA. And then from LA, we'll then do an overnight train from Los Angeles to Williams, where we'll arrive the following morning. In Williams, we'll do the same thing as the previous package. We'll hop aboard the Grand Canyon Railway, head up to the South Rim, where we'll have the guided motor coach tour of the South Rim, and then we'll spend 1 night in a lodge up at the Grand Canyon South Rim. From there, we'll then hop back on the Grand Canyon Railway, and we'll take that back down to Williams, where we'll do 1 night at the famous Grand Canyon Railway Hotel. We'll do 1 night there. And then from Williams, we'll wake up the next morning, we'll hop aboard the Amtrak Southwest Chief heading east on an overnight train back to Chicago. Now, I do want to point out that this is a 13-day, 12-night. We'll get a sightseeing tour of Yellowstone's lower loop, the sightseeing tour of Yosemite, a city tour of Los Angeles, round trip on board the Grand Canyon Railway, the Motor Coach Freedom Tour of the South Rim of the Grand Canyon, all in all 8 nights hotel, 4 nights on board train in coach seating. Once again, we highly recommend upgrading to the sleepers. You'll get a private room with beds, shower access, and your meals on board the train would be included. It's a really fantastic package. Or how's about this one? This is another one of our top national park packages that we have to offer. This is our Peaks to the Pacific, and honestly, I am so surprised that we even still have space on this. This goes for a lot of these packages, by the way, that we've been highlighting today. Space is very limited. We do have these packages available, but the space is very limited. We're already in the summer and people are traveling. So space is limited. If you do see something today that you really like, please don't delay. You would want to book it as soon as possible to make sure you're able to travel on. Otherwise, you might have to wait until next year because availability is very limited, but we do have these packages available. So let's cover this package. So what this package does, the Peaks to the Pacific, it starts off with 2 nights in Denver. Now we'll do 2 nights in a downtown Denver hotel, right where you want to be. And while you're in Denver, you'll get a full day guided tour of Rocky Mountain National Park, which is amazing. Rocky Mountain National Park, there's a reason why people flock to Colorado, and it's to visit the national park. It's really wonderful. From Denver, and after we've seen on the tour, we'll do a day train over to Salt Lake City, where we'll do a night in Salt Lake. And then the next morning, we'll hop aboard the Salt Lake Express, and that'll bring you up to West Yellowstone. We'll do 2 nights once again in Yellowstone National Park, and you'll still get that Yellowstone lower loop bus tour, which is fantastic. You'll definitely still get that. From Yellowstone, we'll then take the Salt Lake Express back down to Salt Lake City, where we'll do an overnight on the train, and then we'll head over to San Francisco, and you'll arrive the following afternoon. Same thing, you'll get 2 nights in San Fran, and you'll also get that guided day tour to Yosemite National Park. So once again, you'll still see the Yosemite National Park as well as San Francisco. In fact, you also get a day tour of Salt Lake City as well on this package as well. So all in all, it's 8 nights, hotel, 1 night on board Amtrak. We can upgrade to the sleepers on that because it is in coach. We get the round-trip shuttle transfers to and from Salt Lake City to Yellowstone National Park. We got 1 meal included, which I believe is a dinner, in San Francisco. And then we get a sightseeing tour of Rocky Mountain National Park, a narrated tour of Salt Lake City, the bus tour of Yellowstone, as well as the day tour to Yosemite National Park. Love this package, 10 days, 9 nights, and once again, we still have space. I'm very surprised that we still have space, but we still have some on select days, so definitely keep that in mind. And another fantastic package we have is for our family adventures is our San Francisco and Yosemite family adventure. Now, I love this package because there's something, like I said, for the family adventures for everyone. So what this one is, it starts to and from, it starts in Los Angeles and ends in Los Angeles, but once again, we can pick it up no matter where you're coming out of. You'll do a day train north to San Francisco from Los Angeles on the Coast Starlight. When we get into San Francisco, we will do 3 nights in a downtown San Francisco hotel. While you're in San Francisco, you'll get a multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of San Francisco that'll take you by some of the famous sites that San Francisco has to offer. You'll go to the Golden Gate Park and see the Golden Gate Bridge. It'll take you through famous Chinatown. It will take you over through the Haight-Ashbury area of town. So much to see and do in San Francisco. I love it. And you'll also get that day tour as well to Yosemite National Park from San Francisco. So you and your family will be able to go enjoy the park. And after our 3 nights in San Francisco are all done, we'll then take this Coast Starlight on a day train back down to LA. So just to highlight this, it's a 4-day, 3-night. We get the multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of San Francisco, that sightseeing tour of Yosemite, 3 nights hotel in San Francisco, round trip on Amtrak and coach accommodations, and get this, kids eat for free when dining at the hotel in San Francisco. I do want to point out that the best part about this is it's day travel, so you don't need to upgrade to the sleepers on this. The coach seating is completely fine. And just realize as well that on most of the long-distance trains on Amtrak, all meals are included in the dining car whenever you upgrade to the sleeping accommodation. So keep that in mind. You won't want to miss out on the dining on Amtrak. We'll touch base on it a little bit. But I can tell you, it's a wonderful time dining on board the train. So say if you're looking for something a bit shorter, you don't want to go to too many or you want a little bit of a shorter trip, well, consider our Yellowstone National Park Getaway. So this trip, first off, is amazing. This can be picked up anywhere. So, say if you're coming from the East Coast, the West Coast, the South, wherever you're coming out of, this trip can be picked up. Just the amount of time traveled will be based upon where you're coming out of. So what happens is you'll go over to Yellowstone. You'll do one night in Salt Lake City and a downtown Salt Lake City hotel right in famous Temple Square. We'll then do the Salt Lake Express sightseeing transfer up to West Yellowstone, where we'll take it up there and then do 2 nights in a West Yellowstone lodge. When we're up in West Yellowstone, we'll still get that lower loop bus tour, motor coach tour. And then you'll do after the 2 nights, the transfer back down to Salt Lake City, where we'll end with 1 night in Salt Lake City again. From there, you can continue east. You can head back east towards Chicago, or you can continue west towards San Francisco, or if you wanted to, you can opt to fly home from there. Now, I will recommend and suggest what a lot of people will do for this one is they'll actually add a 3rd night up at West Yellowstone. And the reason for this is because we do offer the upper loop bus tour as well, which if you really want the full comprehensive, tours of the park and be able to see the whole majority of the park, definitely consider that because you'll get both the upper and the lower loop bus tours. Or perhaps we do our Heart of Yellowstone National Park Discovery. So this trip I absolutely love because there's so much. Once again, this trip can be picked up anywhere. So we'll start off in Salt Lake City, where we'll do 2 nights in a downtown Salt Lake City hotel. While we're in Salt Lake City, we will get a guided city tour of Salt Lake City, where you'll see some sites as the famous Mormon Tabernacle Choir, where they play, and you'll see the famous LDS Church. You'll see the famous Temple Square. You'll see some of the top sites that Salt Lake City is known for. From Salt Lake City, we'll take the the Salt Lake Express up to West. Actually, my apologies. We'll actually pick up a rental car in Salt Lake City, and we'll self-drive up to Yellowstone National Park. Now, this package is special because it includes 3 nights in the Canyon Lodge, which is right in the dead smack center of Yellowstone National Park. It's right where you want to be. And it's self-drive, too, so you could actually do stops along the way and see some of the beautiful scenery that is in between Salt Lake City and Yellowstone. When you get up to Yellowstone, you will get a full-day tour of Yellowstone National Park, very comprehensive tour. And then after our 3 nights in West Yellowstone are all done, we'll drive ourselves back down to Salt Lake City. We'll have 1 more night in Salt Lake City, but then we can once again head west towards San Francisco, head east back towards Chicago, or even fly home. It is completely up to you all. So just to highlight this, it's a 7-day, 6-night. We get a sightseeing tour of Yellowstone National Park, the Salt Lake City City Tour, 7 days in a rental car, so a week's worth of rental car, and 6 nights hotel in between. 3 nights Salt Lake City, 3 nights Yellowstone National Park. Once again, we still have space. Barely, but we still have space on this one. Highly recommend booking this one if you're still looking for some last-minute, national park trips, especially to Yellowstone. So now we have this package, America's National Parks. I love this trip because this is the only trip that includes 2 national parks. In fact, these 2 national parks on this trip this is the only tour where they're on. So keep that in mind. We'll touch base on that in a second. So the trip starts off in Denver, where we'll do 2 nights once again in a downtown Denver hotel, right where you want to be, and we'll still get that sightseeing tour of Rocky Mountain National Park. From Denver, we'll then do a couple-hour-long train on the California Zephyr, where we'll go over to Grand Junction, Colorado, where we'll do 2 nights in Grand Junction. Now, this is the part I was talking about. In Grand Junction, we will have a full-day tour of Arches and Canyonlands National Parks. This is the only package that we offer that offers both Arches and Canyonlands, which are beautiful, especially Canyonlands. I don't know if any of you have been there before. It's such a beautiful area. So this package includes the tours of those. From Grand Junction, we'll then take a couple-hour-long train out to Salt Lake City, where we'll do 1 night in Salt Lake City in a downtown hotel. And then the next day, we'll do the Salt Lake Express up to West Yellowstone, do 2 nights up in West Yellowstone in one of the lodges, and have that guided lower loop bus tour of Yellowstone National Park. And then we'll transfer you back down to Salt Lake City. And from there, you can head west towards San Francisco, or you can head back east towards Chicago. Completely up to you. And I can tell you, this package is crazy popular, especially this season. For the folks that are especially looking to go to Arches and Canyonlands that tried to go there last year but was, sold out, This one is very popular for this year, so keep that in mind. We still have some select dates for this available. Definitely do not delay. You won't want to miss out on this one. So it's a 9-day, 8-night. We get a full day tour of Rocky Mountain National Park, a full day tour of Arches and Canyonlands National Parks, the lower loop tour of Yellowstone National Park, one way on Amtrak in coach accommodations. All in all, it's 8 nights hotel. There's no overnights on board the train. There's no need to upgrade to the sleepers on this one. It's all coach seating because it's all day travel. And keep that in mind that any of these packages, they all typically go from city center to city center, so you can get right into the heart of where all the action is as quickly as possible. Now, here is one of our most popular seasonal destinations, Glacier National Park. Glacier Park, I am so surprised that we still have space left, to be completely honest, because Glacier season books so quickly because their season's so short. It's from mid-September, or mid-June rather, to mid-September. That's the only time of the year that park is fully operational. And this package is our most popular one. What it is, it's a 4-day, 3-night in the park. And you'll do 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge, which is one of the official lodges of the park. Now, for my Disney fans, Glacier Park Lodge is the main source of inspiration. For those who have been to Walt Disney World down in Florida, the Wilderness Lodge Resort is actually inspired by the Glacier Park Lodge. If you've ever seen the two together or been to either one, you can tell the similarities are very, very, very strikingly similar. So it's really, really interesting. As well as one of my favorite parts about the Glacier Park Lodge is from the front door of the lodge to the front door of the train station, there is 209 steps separating the two. So if you wanted to, most people will walk from front door to front door, but say if you're tired or if you have some luggage, don't worry. They do run like a little golf cart tram that'll take you from front door to front door. So this package is wonderful. You get 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge. You get 2 tours. The Big Sky Circle tour is the main tour. It's the first tour. It's the most comprehensive tour of Glacier National Park. It's a full-day tour, and it utilizes the Going to the Sun Road, which is the main stretch of highway that runs right through the middle of the park. It's incredibly comprehensive, and you'll see almost all the major sites that Glacier has to offer on that tour. Now, the second tour you'll get is a boat ride along the base of the Two Medicine Valley, which is actually, funny enough, one of the only areas not covered on that first tour. Two Medicine Valley is beautiful, and you'll see some, picturesque scenery. I'll do a boat ride along the base of it. See some almost crystal clear waters. You actually can get an optional hike on that as well. And there's one meal included at the Glacier Park Lodge. There's a dinner included, so you can use that at any point during your stay. And keep in mind, too, this package can be picked up anywhere you might be coming out of. So, if you want to come out of most popular spots, it's typically Chicago, Minneapolis, or if you're coming from the west, maybe Portland, Oregon, or Seattle. Those are some of the most populars, but it can be picked up realistically wherever. But say if you're looking for a little bit of a longer trip to Glacier, or you want to really see the best of what's happening in the northern United States, this is our Glacier National Park Express. This trip has been really popular for like the past 5 years, and there's definitely a good reason for it. So first off, it starts in Chicago, and you'll do 2 nights in downtown Chicago, right in the heart of the loop, right where you want to be. And while you're in Chicago, you get a sightseeing architecture cruise of Chicago, which is an amazing tour. It'll take you down the Chicago River, and you can see some of the famous buildings and architecture that Chicago's known for. Fun fact is that Chicago is actually the birthplace of the modern skyscraper, and you'll see some of the most well-known buildings here in the United States, like the Willis Tower or the WGN building, or you can see my personal favorites, the Marina Towers, which are these really unique-looking buildings right in the heart of downtown Chicago. From Chicago, we'll do an overnight train heading west on the Empire Builder, and we'll arrive the following afternoon into Glacier National Park, where we'll do 3 nights at the Glacier Park Lodge. While we're in Glacier Park, we'll still have those 2 tours, the Two Medicine Valley Boat Cruise and the Big Sky Circle Tour. And then from Glacier Park, we'll do a really quick overnight on board the Empire Builder, heading west, ending in Seattle, where we'll do 2 nights in a downtown Seattle hotel right in the heart of the Emerald City. And while you're in Seattle, you'll get 3 different things actually included. First off, you'll get a multi-day hop-on, hop-off sightseeing tour of Seattle. That'll take you around the city on a big loop, and you can get off and on as you please at all the different sites and attractions. Perhaps go visit the Pike's Place Market and see them throw the fish. Perhaps go visit the original Starbucks, especially if you're a coffee lover. Definitely well worth checking out. It'll even bring you down by the Seattle Harbor, so really fantastic tour. While we're in Seattle as well, we'll get admission to the Space Needle, which is their main landmark. So if you see right in the dead middle of your screen, that is the Space Needle, and you'll get tickets to go to the top. As well as you'll get tickets to the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum, which is this really amazing museum. Now, for those that aren't familiar with Chihuly, he's this really great artist that makes these beautiful glass sculptures that look like flowers. This is his headquarters museum, and it's located right at the foot of the Space Needle. So really fantastic, and you're going to love seeing both. They're right next to each other, so you can see both very easily. Just to highlight this, it's a 10-day, 9-night. We get the Architecture Cruise of Chicago. We get the 2 tours in Glacier, the Big Sky Circle Tour, as well as the 2 Medicine Valley Boat Cruise. In Seattle, we'll get the tickets to the Space Needle and the Chihuly Garden and Glass Museum, as well as the Hop On Hop Off sightseeing tour. All in all, 7 nights hotel, 2 nights on board the train in coach seating. Once again, we can upgrade those 2 nights to sleeping accommodations. You'll have a private room with beds, shower access, and meals on board the train are included. Now, I can tell you with this package, what a lot of people will do too is they'll actually extend it out, perhaps maybe heads down south from Seattle and maybe head down to Portland, Oregon, or San Francisco, or even Los Angeles for a couple nights. Or you could head north to Vancouver or Victoria and see some of the best of what Canada has to offer. In fact, we have this amazing package right here. This is our Canadian Rockies adventure. That's right, we work very closely as well with the Via Rail system in Canada, which is the national rail system of Canada. We work with them, we're a preferred partner. So this package starts off in Vancouver. Now, there is no hotel nights included in Vancouver. However, if you did want to add them in, maybe before or afterwards, we can absolutely help you with that. We have tons of great hotels in Vancouver and tons of activities to do, and it's such a cool city. So we'll board the train in the afternoon in Vancouver, and we'll do an overnight on board the Canadian, which is an overnight train on Via Rail. We'll arrive the following afternoon into Jasper, right in the heart of the Canadian Rockies, and we'll do 2 nights in a lodge right in the heart of Jasper. Now, while you're there, you'll get a sightseeing tour of the Columbia Icefields Parkway that includes the Glacier Skywalk. Now, for those that aren't familiar with the Icefields Parkway, you'll actually get to go on board one of those big ice climbing vehicles that will cut right across the glacier, and you'll actually get an opportunity to get out and walk across the glacier. It is one of the most beautiful areas in North America, and you're going to love it. And that's a full-day tour that'll bring you, pick you up at your hotel, and then at the end of the day, drop you right off there. And then from Jasper, after our 2 nights there, we'll then head back west on an overnight train on board the Canadian again and end in Vancouver. All in all, it's a 5-day, 4-night, 2 nights hotel and 2 nights on board Via, and that is 2 nights in Via are in economy, which is coach seating. So if you, much like Amtrak, if you did want to upgrade to the accommodations on Via, you can do that. It'll be a private room with beds, private toilet and sink in room, meals on the train included. And you'll get the sightseeing tour of the Columbia Icefields Parkway with the Glacier Skywalk. You also get a dinner included as well on this package. So I know throughout this presentation I've been talking about the different accommodations, and if you upgrade, you get your meals included and sleepers, but what does this all mean? Well, I'm going to hop right into that and kind of explain it all for you. So first off, we have coach seating, which if you've noticed, a lot of the packages do start and come with coach seating. So keep that in mind. However, with coach seating, the meals are not included, so keep that in mind. But coach seating on Amtrak is amazing because the seats themselves are, typically about two times the size of your standard airplane seat. They're very comfortable, very spacious. The legroom is to die for. In fact, last year I did the train from Chicago to Los Angeles, and the gentleman I was traveling with is 6'6". He had never seen legroom like he saw on Amtrak. He actually could fully extend his legs and still have space. So really amazing. Also on Amtrak, with the coach seats, they recline at a 45-degree angle, so they get back pretty far, and they also have a leg rest as well, so you can get truly comfortable. But like I said, with coach, you're going to want, if you're doing a couple nights on board the train, a night or two, you're going to want to upgrade to sleepers. So that's where we go to the roomettes. The roomettes are the most popular type of sleeping accommodation on board the train. During the day, they're 2 big seats that face each other, like in the picture, with a big picture window and a fold-out table. At night, those 2 seats convert to the lower bunk, and right above where these folks' head is, it pulls down to where the top bunk is located. Now, I do want to point out that there is no private toilet, sink, and shower in room. That would be located right down the hall, and they're private but shared. So you're sharing the bathrooms with everyone else that has a roomette in your car. However, they are private, so once you're in there, it's not like a college dorm. You're in there by yourself, and there's several showers and bathrooms, so it's not like there's just one being shared. Now, with the roomettes, your meals are included, so keep that in mind. However, say if you, Nick, I really want my own bathroom in room. Is there a way I can do that? Why, yes, there is. There's the bedroom accommodations. The bedrooms are a little bit bigger than the roomettes. During the day, it's more of a sofa-style seating, so where the gentleman is sitting is more of a sofa, and they also have an extra recliner where the lady is sitting. At night, that sofa-style seating converts to the lower bunk, and much like the roomettes, where above his head is, it pulls down for the top bunk. Now, if you look at the little diagram on the left-hand side of the diagram, you see like a little closeted-looking thing. That is a private toilet, sink, and shower, and that is in room. So there's no need to worry about sharing a bathroom. It is located right in your room. And just the experience on board the train is really amazing. So there's so much to see and do, and people to meet, and people to talk to, and things. Now, I mentioned earlier, if we turn our attention to the picture on the top right, I mentioned earlier the observation car is my favorite. And the reason why is because observation car is the place to see the beauty and the scenery pass before your eyes. Some, beautiful landscapes that, you really can't see from the sky or from the interstate. You can only see from train, and this is the spot to be at. I can tell you when I did my train journey, other than to eat, sleep, or shower, I did not leave the observation car. So picture it. It's floor-to-ceiling windows with a glass dome on the top, with seats that actually face out towards the windows, which is really fantastic. I can tell you, last year when I did Chicago to Los Angeles, you pass through the Southwest. There were points where I was passing through Albuquerque, or through New Mexico rather, and it was picture this wide open desert plains with snow-capped mountains in the backgrounds and plateaus. I'm from Massachusetts. We don't have plateaus here. I was amazed by seeing one for the first time. Honestly, there was parts I thought John Wayne was going to ride alongside the train and come on board because I felt like I was in the wild, wild west. And I know you all will love that feeling too. I have some really fantastic memories that I'll cherish forever just from riding in the train. And now is for the moment we've all been waiting for. I've been mentioning throughout the presentation that when you upgrade to sleepers and you get your meals included and you get dining, well, what does this all mean? Well, let's cover it. So first off, the dining on board the train is unlike anything you probably ever had before, like on an airplane. Take what you know about airplane food and honestly throw it out the window. We don't want anything to do with that. The dining on board Amtrak is awesome. It is so good. So picture this. There's an onboard chef that freshly prepares these meals. And you'd be amazed at the quality and types of meals they can prepare in this tiny little kitchen on board a train. Take for this, breakfast. There's bacon and eggs. There's omelets. There's waffles. There's pancakes. For lunch, there's big juicy cheeseburgers. There's pasta dishes. There's big grilled chicken salads. For dinner, there's fish dishes, chicken dishes, and not to mention Amtrak's signature dish, which you can see right in the middle of your screen, the Amtrak signature steak, which I can tell you I've had 2 nights in a row myself, and I absolutely loved it. I know you all will too. And the whole dining experience on board the train is magnificent. So as soon as you get to your room on board the train, the dining car attendant will come by to your room and set up some reservation times for you to come to your come to your room and set up times. When it's your time to eat, you then head down to the dining car. You take a seat in one of these big comfortable booths with a beautiful white tablecloth layout. You actually order off a menu with options. So take for instance, you have, like when you're on a plane where it's just the chicken or the fish. No, with Amtrak, you actually get many choices. It's a full-fledged menu. You get to order from a server like you would in your local restaurants. It truly is a wonderful experience. Because if you think about it, Amtrak is not just your transportation. It's not just a hotel on wheels. It's not just sightseeing on wheels, but it's also a restaurant on wheels. And it's all rolled up into one completely amazing experience. And today we've honestly barely scratched the surface of what we have to offer. I've only showed you some of the last-minute national park trips that we still have available. To see the full spectrum of what we have, pay us a visit at amtrakvacations.com. This will bring you to this wonderful main page, and then from there, if you hover over to the Destinations tab on the left, where that red arrow is pointing, hover over that, you can see a list of all the destinations we offer and all the different packages, and you can navigate through and find the perfect package for you. And once you find that right package, please give us a ring at 1-800-268-7252. And like I said, one of our top-notch reservationists is on standby awaiting your call. You can book through the website at amtrakvacations.com, or what I always recommend, my favorite is call or visit your local travel agent. They would be delighted to hear from you. They'd be happy to help you plan one of these vacation packages. They are here for you, so keep that in mind. Really amazing stuff. And we offer some really wonderful everyday discounts too. So take, for instance, if you're a AAA member, you will save yourself 10% off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package by using your AAA card. If you're traveling with children ages 2 to 12, you'll receive 50% discount off the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package on their portion. Our senior travelers age 62 and over, you'll receive 15% discount on the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package. And lastly, active duty military personnel, their spouses, and their dependents receive a 10% discount on the rail portion of an Amtrak Vacations package as well, just as a thank you for your service. And for the rest of everyone, here's that exclusive discount today. And luckily, if you get the upgrade to a sleeping accommodation on the rail packages, you'll save yourself $100 per couple, or $50 per person. To take full advantage of this, you just need to book by the 19th of July. Now, highly recommend, if you saw something you really like today, I wouldn't sit and wait on it. Honestly, I would book it as soon as possible to guarantee yourself the space. Like I said, all the packages we saw today, we still have some space, but not much. Availability is very limited, so we definitely would want to book this if you are interested, and you can take full advantage of this promotion as well. You won't want to miss out on any of the national parks, as well as this wonderful discount. And also, don't forget to download your handout here on the side. It'll have some really great information on some of the packages that we covered today. And now's the time, too. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to input them into the questions box, and I will be more than happy to provide an answer for all of you. Be more than happy to answer any questions you might have. But in the meantime, I just want to say thank you all. First off, to thank all of you, each and every single one of you, for joining us today and learning a little bit about some of our last-minute national park trips that we have for this summer. Once again, I really hope that was really valuable information. I love the national parks, and I hope you all do too. And now's the time. If you have any questions, like I said, please feel free to enter them into the questions box. I'll take the time and answer any questions that you all might have. But before I do so, I wanted to announce the winner of a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift card. Today's lucky winner is, drumroll, Lisa Brainerd. Lisa, congratulations. We hope to see you in our national parks, and we hope to see you on Amtrak real soon. So, awesome job with that one. And for the rest of you, definitely feel free, if now's the time, if you want to ask any questions, please feel free to do so, and I'll be more than happy to help you out and answer any questions you might have. I have a question here from Madeline asking about luggage and how much you can bring. So each person is allowed 2 pieces of carry-on luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag, as well as 2 pieces of check-in luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag. Just as long as their stations that they're going to and from have check luggage service, they're each allowed 2 pieces of check-in luggage, up to 50 pounds each bag as well. And it also counts, they also allow a personal item. So figure a purse, a briefcase, backpack, laptop bag, pocketbook, anything of that sort, you can bring those on board the train as well, and that will be a personal item. I have a question here from Lisa asking, can you pick your seat online? Unfortunately, no. The seats are actually all open, so as soon as you get on board the train, you can just freely pick whatever seat that you'd want. I also have another question from Lisa asking, can you still buy meals if you don't buy a room overnight? Absolutely. If you want to buy, if you have coach but you still want to go sit in the dining car and eat your meals, they would be out of pocket. Or you can go to the cafe car where they have some lighter fare, like sandwiches and chips and candy and more snack foods, but they also have like sandwiches and slices of pizza and things like that. Mary's asking, what type of accommodations do we have for families and couples who can't use an upper berth? So on Amtrak, they do have what's called the family room, which has 2 upper and 2 lower berths. However, 2 of the beds are more meant for smaller children. They can't really fit an adult. They're meant for kids. However, so say if you have 2 adult travelers that can't do an upper berth, and what I always recommend is doing 2 roomettes across the hall from each other. The reason why is you'll get 2 lower berths. You'll also have a little bit of extra room because you'll be using that. You'll each have a free top berth. You'll have views on both sides of the train, which is really coveted. And the best thing is the roomettes are so close to each other, and this hallway is kind of narrow, so you can easily converse with someone across the hall. It's not like you guys are completely separated. You all are very close. You can still converse and not have to scream and talk at a normal volume. I always recommend that. I have a question here from Sean, um, asking about uh, webinars for travel agents. We do have them as well, so if you're a travel agent, please, definitely we do host those as well. Yes, I have a question here from Laura asking, is traveling Amtrak realistic for someone that has limited mobility, such as not being able to stand and walk a great distance? Yes, 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 yes. Traveling on Amtrak with, say if you travel with a walker, a wheelchair, a cane, or if you just, have some, mobility issues, you can easily move on the train. In fact, they have, handicap accessible rooms as well as coach seating, and as well as the hotels we work with all are ADA, have ADA rooms and ADA approved. And as well as at the stations, Amtrak goes to great lengths to help, take care of the people with mobility issues. Take, for instance, they have a service called the Red Cap service, which is a complimentary service. It's a group of, attendants that will be more than happy to help you get around the station, maybe get off and on the train, help with luggage, and they make it as worry-free and as hassle-free as possible for you. These are some really great questions, everyone. If you have any, there we go, Gail. Are tips included for the upgrades to the room? Unfortunately, no. Gratuities are not included. However, you would take, for instance, for the dining car, you would tip like how you would standard tip in a restaurant, maybe 15 to 20% depending on the meal. And the dining car and the car attendant for your car, like where your room is, I generally recommend tipping like $5 a day per person. Laura's asking, if traveling with a group, can a block of seats be held for the group? Unfortunately, no. We don't really work all too much with large groups, and the reason for that is due to our limited allocations at the properties we use. We don't really have group space. So we usually recommend, if you're doing a group, it's typically handled on a first-come, first-served basis. You all are asking some really great questions. Keep them rolling if you can think of anything. We've got some really great information. The national parks are quite popular. Have any of you actually been to any national parks? If you have, please feel free to enter it into the box. I'd love to hear if you've been to any of these national parks before. There we go. Awesome job, John. He's been to the Grand Canyon. Excellent, excellent. Yes, Gail asks a really great question. Do you get a coach seat if you upgrade to sleepers? Yes, yes, you can. If you have upgraded to a sleeping accommodation on board the train, you can absolutely go sit in coach seating. Mary's been to the Yosemite, Grand Canyon, and Yellowstone. That is fantastic. Now you can check out Glacier National Park. Laura's been to Grand Canyon, Bryce, Zion, Yellowstone, Grand Tetons. That is fantastic. Now, maybe you can join Mary and go up to Glacier National Park, or maybe to Arches or Canyonlands. Patricia's asking a great question. Can you take pets with you on board the train? Yes and no. So Amtrak has a new policy. They only launched last year. You can bring small dogs and cats in crates, but they can only be, on the train for, I believe, a total of 6 hours. Anything longer than 6 hours, you cannot bring them on. They can only be on for 6-hour intervals. Look at all these. Wow, everyone's been to all the parks. Gail's been to Yosemite and Yellowstone and Glacier. Karen's been to Grand Canyon, Bryce, Arches, Zion's Canyonland. Wow. And Laura's looking to go to Glacier. Hey, we can get you on that. Thaddeus is asking, do we offer single accommodations? Yes, we do have single supplements. The price is a little bit more than the double occupation because it is per single, but it's not double the price. A lot of people have this conception that the single price is double the regular. It isn't. It's a little bit more than the standard double rate per person. Lisa, we're going to have to get you to Glacier and Yellowstone. Perhaps maybe do a trip that has both on there. Karen's asking, is there a park and ride option for Yellowstone? I don't believe so, no. None that we offer, at least. Laura's also been to the Alaska National Parks, but like Denali, I presume. We have some regular national park buffs here. This is wonderful. There were national parks are some of our and one really interesting thing because I know you guys will all appreciate it because you all seem really on par with the national parks and love them. Our national park packages, we actually work hand in hand. We work hand in hand with the National Park Foundation, where part of the proceeds of your booking at no additional cost go actually towards the National Park Foundation. Now, for those that might not be aware of the National Park Foundation, it is a wonderful cause that helps keep our national parks as helps preserve them for future generations to enjoy. It helps keep them as perfect and pristine as they are now. So not only is it a great vacation for you, but you're really contributing to a wonderful cause that helps keep our national parks awesome and really amazing. Unfortunately, no, Gail, we don't have any trips to Denali. I wish, because I would be on that trip ASAP. I would love to go to Alaska. Any more questions, anyone? You all are asking some really great questions. So I think that we might be done for the day, unless we got. Let's see. Oh, there we go. We got some more. Yeah. So Laura's not saying that something about that the schedules are unreliable. That is actually an urban. That is not true. Typically, the trains are typically on time for Amtrak. What I would allow is, I mean, as long as it's a guaranteed connection, which our team over here or your local travel agent will be able to help tell. If it's a guaranteed connection, there's no need to worry about, in between times. What I will say is when you get to, say when you first start your journey, I would recommend getting to the station about 45 minutes to an hour ahead of time, just to settle in and get yourself ready and mentally prepared to get on board the train. It's not like the airport, though, where you have to be there like 2 or 3 hours early. No, you can just get there. I always recommend 45 minutes to an hour. Yes, Patricia. So, if you are over 62, I would, because you can only use either the AAA or the senior. If you are over 62, highly recommend the senior discount. You'll get 5% more off the rail portion. Yes, Laura, a guaranteed connection is when two long distance trains, say you're going from, take for instance, you're coming out of Syracuse and you're looking to go to Glacier Park. So the train from Syracuse would go Syracuse to Chicago. You would change trains in Chicago and go Chicago to Glacier Park. A guaranteed connection is to make that Amtrak guarantees that connection between the train from New York to Chicago and then the train from Chicago to Glacier, that you'll be able to make it. It's a guaranteed connection. There's enough time in between the two, and that they'll allow you to do it. Yes. Mary asks, are meals pricing shown on the accommodation packages? So when you get to the dining car, you'll be given a menu that has the prices on it. It's just your meals are included, so you don't have to worry about it. Gail's asking a great question. Is your checked luggage transferred? Yes. It'll be transferred to your final destination. It's much like when you check your luggage in and you have a layover when you're flying. You won't see it to your final destination. Yes, Karen, the transportation from Phoenix to Flagstaff to catch the Amtrak is still available. Amtrak does run a bus service from both downtown Phoenix and Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. These are some wonderful questions. I'm very impressed. You all are asking some top-notch questions. Any more questions for today? It's going once, going twice. Any more? Yeah, well, there we go. Just come whole bunch of questions. Are there discounts for groups? Unfortunately, we don't really work with groups all too much because of, like I said, due to our limited allocations. Groups are done on a first come first served basis, but there is no group discounts, unfortunately. Yes, Angela, by all means. Angela, that's a fantastic. Is it possible to customize these journeys? Say, add another day. Yes, by all means. A lot of people will customize them, especially for Yellowstone or for Glacier and the Grand Canyon. A lot of people will add an extra night or two, maybe to have some free time. Maybe do a national park services tour or wildlife or a hike. You could absolutely customize any of these journeys. Any more? So it looks like today we are out of questions. So I just want to thank you all once again. Those were some really great questions that you all asked. I really appreciate it. And you all have been done a wonderful job. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy days to learn a little bit about what we have to offer with our last minute packages to our national parks. If you have any questions, please feel free to give a call to that number you see right on your screen, or if you want to take a look at anything, our reservations team, or definitely my recommendation, pay a visit to your local travel agent or give them a ring. They'll be more than happy to help you out. Once again, my name is Nick Bonnell. It's been a pleasure to be here with all of you today. Thank you for attending. And until next time, take care, everyone. We'll talk soon. Bye, everybody. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.